My fiance once said, "My friends think I'm wasting my youth on one guy, that I should explore my options." I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Okay, let's do it." Then I walked across the room to her best friend, the one who said it, and asked her out. The chaos that followed, you wouldn't believe it. I guess I'm now that guy, the one with the story everyone wants to hear at parties. Fair warning, this ride is wild from start to finish, and I'm 30, or was when this started. Was engaged to Becca, 27. We'd been together for 4 years, met at a friend's barbecue. She was sharp, funny, gorgeous, the whole package. I fell fast. For a long time, it felt mutual. After a year, we moved in together. A cozy 2-bedroom downtown. 8 months ago, I proposed. Used my grandmother's diamond, reset it in a modern band I designed myself. She cried, said yes. We called our families. Life felt perfect. The wedding was planned for next spring, her parents footing most of the bill. Looking back, thank God for that. I dodged a serious financial bullet. Then 3 months ago, something shifted. Becca's friend group, mostly single hard-partying girls in their mid to late 20s, had always been, let's say, energetic. Their ringleader, Vanessa, couldn't keep a relationship longer than a carton of milk. Becca hung out with them occasionally, which was fine, but occasionally turned into every weekend, late nights, clubbing till 3 or 4 a.m. Then came the outfits, tighter, flashier, nothing like what she'd wear when we went out together. I tried to talk to her, said I missed spending weekends with her. She snapped, accused me of trying to isolate her from her friends, and froze me out for days. A month later, she got secretive with her phone. Passcode, face down on the table, even took it to the bathroom. I hate to admit it, but one night while she showered, I checked her messages. Nothing concrete, just Vanessa texting, "He doesn't need to know everything. What happens at the club stays at the club." I waited for Becca to come clean. She didn't. Instead, she started picking fights over nothing. How I loaded the dishwasher, how loud I breathed in my sleep. Classic deflection. Then came Vanessa's party. Her roommate was getting married, so this was a casual pre-bachelorette thing. Becca insisted I come. Surprised me, honestly. Lately, she'd been keeping her social life and relationship life separate. We showed up. I was the only guy there in a serious relationship. Most of the dudes were muscle-flexing, mirror-checking types who said body count, unironically. I parked myself by the snack table, silently praying for a reason to leave, when I overheard something from the kitchen. Vanessa's voice, loud as ever after a few drinks. "Becca, seriously, why are you settling down at 27? You've only been with, 3 guys? You're wasting your youth." I waited for Becca to defend me. Instead, I heard her say, "I know, I've been thinking the same thing lately. Sometimes I wonder what else is out there." That hit like a punch, but weirdly, I felt calm, like finally confirming what I already knew. I walked into the kitchen. 4 faces froze like kids caught stealing. Becca stammered, "Mark, how long have you been standing there?" "Long enough," I said evenly. "So, you think you're wasting your youth on one guy?" Vanessa was just, "No," I cut her off. "Actually, I think Vanessa's right. You should explore your options. In fact, we both should." They stared at me like I'd just grown horns. Becca blinked. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying, okay, let's do it. Let's explore other options." Then, running purely on adrenaline and a few beers, I turned to Vanessa. "Since you're so passionate about Becca exploring her options, want to go out sometime?" The silence was unreal. Then Vanessa, smirking, fearless, said, "Actually, yeah, I would." The room exploded. Becca lunged at her, screaming about betrayal. 2 girls held her back. I just stood there, detached, like I was watching a scene from a movie. "You're asking out my best friend?" Becca yelled. "You literally said you wanted to explore other options," I replied calmly. "I'm just taking your advice." She stormed out. I stayed 15 more minutes, finished my beer, thanked the host, and went home. Becca was already there, throwing clothes into a bag. "I'm staying at Megan's," she snapped. "We'll talk tomorrow when you're sober." "I'm perfectly sober," I said. "You wanted to explore your options. Why are you upset?" "Because normal people don't hit on their fiance's best friend. Normal fiancés don't tell their friends they're bored of their partner," I shot back. She froze, then whispered, "It wasn't like that. Vanessa just got in my head." "Well, I'm just letting her stay there," I said. "You wanted freedom. Enjoy it." She left, slammed the door, and, to my own surprise, I slept great. The next morning, chaos. Becca texted apologies, accusations, essays. Mutual friends blew up my phone. And then, Vanessa texted too. "Dinner Friday, or was that just to make a point?" After a day of silence, I replied, "Friday works." Was I interested in Vanessa? Not really. But something about the chaos intrigued me, and I wanted to see what Becca would do. Sure enough, by Tuesday, Becca was calling me furious. "Tell me Vanessa's lying. Tell me you're not going out with her." "I am," I said, "to explore my options." She hung up. Then came a flood of emotional texts. Anger, guilt, desperation. I ignored them all. Friday came. Vanessa and I met at a nice Italian place. She showed up dressed like she was auditioning for X-Revenge the movie. We ordered drinks. She smirked. "So, are you doing this to mess with Becca, or are you actually interested?" "Bit of both," I said honestly. She laughed. "Didn't expect you to have the guts to ask me. Didn't expect you to say yes." We talked. Surprisingly deep stuff about relationships, freedom, commitment. Turns out she's sharper than I thought. Then fate decided to spice things up. Becca walked in, alone, furious. "Fancy seeing you two here," she said, voice dripping venom. Before either of us could speak, she pulled up a chair. "So, how's the date going?" I smiled. "Pretty good." Vanessa was just explaining why people should date around before settling down. Becca's face turned red. "I said I was sorry, Mark. People make mistakes." "True," I said, "and people also decide when those mistakes end things." Vanessa sighed. "For what it's worth, Becca, you've been complaining for months about feeling trapped. You can't call dibs on someone you were ready to throw away. That hit hard. Becca just stared at the table. I love you, she said quietly. But sometimes I wonder if we're too young to be this serious. I nodded. Then you just answered your own question. And that was it. 4 years ended over a single conversation. But really, it had been ending for months. We broke off the engagement. She moved out. Vanessa and I stayed friends, strictly friends. Surprisingly, it worked. A few weeks later, Vanessa invited me to her brother's housewarming. That's where I met Ellie. She was kind, confident, steady. We clicked instantly. We've been together ever since. The irony? Ellie's a year younger than Becca, but she's never once made me feel like I'm holding her back. She chooses me, every single day. As for Becca, last I heard she's dating one of those mirror guys from Vanessa's party. And Vanessa? She started her own event business. Apparently, chaos translates well to career success. I still have my grandmother's diamond, sold the setting, used the money to take a solo trip to Europe. First time I've ever traveled just for myself. It was incredible. Sometimes I think back to that night. If I hadn't walked into that kitchen, I'd probably still be engaged to someone who saw me as the safe option. Instead, I found someone who sees me as the right one. So here's my advice. If your partner says they're wasting their youth with you, believe them. Not because they're right, but because they're not ready for what you're offering. And if their best friend says you both should explore your options, sometimes the fastest way to the truth is to take them up on it.